I had just set the last tray of roasted lamb on the dining table when the phone rang. I glanced at the screen. It was my husband, Ryan. At this hour he should have been working late at the office in Seattle. Hello. I hurriedly wiped my hands and pressed the answer button. Mackenzie, we need to talk. Next week, on Wednesday, the whole family is going on vacation to Hawaii for a week. I've already booked the flights and the hotel. Again. This was the third time. Oh, when you say the whole family, you mean your parents, your brother Liam and his girlfriend, Aunt Carol and the cousin? 6 people in total. Ryan answered, sounding relieved. Yeah, that's right. The villa only has 3 bedrooms. If it's too crowded, it'll be a problem, so don't come. I looked at the dining table, 2 main dishes and a soup, all his favorites. Now everything, along with the hope in me, would be thrown in the trash. I understand. Have a great trip. My voice sounded distant. You know you'll understand, Mackenzie. You're the most understanding one. Ryan breathed a sigh of relief. Oh, and while I'm gone, remember to water the flowers and the succulent pots. I hung up. The screen went dark like the light in my eyes had just been switched off. 3 years of marriage, and this was the 3rd year they went on a family trip without me. The first time, the excuse was that I had just had a miscarriage. Traveling would be too tiring. The second time, I was too busy with work to take time off. And this year, he didn't even bother to invent an excuse. I started clearing the table mechanically, throwing the untouched food into the trash. My hand trembled, a plate slipped from my grasp and shattered on the floor. I stared at the fragments, how much they resembled me, sparkling on the outside, but shattering into pieces with a single touch. The phone rang again. The in-laws' family group chat. A message from my mother-in-law. Everyone, let's go to Hawaii again this year. Departing Wednesday, don't forget sunscreen. I heard it's very hot. Immediately after came a stream of smiley faces and fireworks emojis. I stared at the phrase, everyone. To them, I was never family. I was just an unpaid housekeeper. I pulled out the photo from last year in California. Ryan with his arm around his brother. My mother-in-law sitting in the middle. My father-in-law beside her. Along with the cousin and Liam's girlfriend. 7 people smiling brightly. The blue sea and palm trees in the background. That year, I stayed home with a high fever. When I called Ryan, he just said, take a fever pill and sleep, you'll be fine. I'm diving, weak waves, bye. Then he hung up. I sank to the floor and picked up the ceramic shards one by one. A shard cut my hand, blood trickled out, but that pain meant nothing compared to the feeling in my chest. The phone rang again, a video call from Harper, my best friend. I wiped my tears and tried to smile. Mackenzie, you wouldn't believe it. I had a crazy client at the office today. Her voice suddenly stopped, then she squinted. What's that? Red eyes? It's okay, I just cut an onion. Don't lie to me. Do you think after 10 years of friendship I wouldn't notice? Is Ryan doing something again? Under that look, my shell collapsed. I told her everything, my voice fading like a breeze. I feel like a joke. A joke? It's Ryan and his family who should be ashamed. Mackenzie. Wake up. They don't consider you family. I knew that in my heart. I just didn't want to admit it. 3 years ago, at the lavish wedding, Ryan knelt and promised to give me happiness. Now everything had dissolved like smoke. Harper's tone turned serious. Do you remember signing a prenuptial agreement? I nodded. A month before the wedding, Ryan suddenly suggested signing a property division agreement, saying it was his family's tradition. I felt uncomfortable but still signed to prove I didn't need his money. The house is under your name. It's separate property, a wedding gift from your parents, clearly registered. I frowned. Why are you asking that? Nothing. Just wanted to remind you to protect yourself. Oh, next week when they go on their trip, why don't you come stay at my place for a few days for fun? I thanked her but declined. After hanging up, I stood by the window, looking at the green garden Ryan always took pride in tending. This house my parents paid the down payment. I paid for renovations with savings from years of work. Ryan's family contributed very little, but still insisted on putting his name on the papers. Why? Men need to keep face. Night fell. I showered and went to bed like a machine. Ryan didn't come home working late. For the past 6 months, Working late had become a familiar excuse. I wondered, did I still want to continue this marriage? For 3 years I had tried to be the exemplary wife, the obedient daughter-in-law, but in return I got only coldness. The phone lit up a message from Ryan. Are you still up? I'm leaving next week, remember to lock the doors carefully. Oh, Mom wants you to buy some local Hawaiian souvenirs for her. Buy a few nice boxes tomorrow and have them ready. I laughed until tears fell. That's enough, Mackenzie. Time to wake up. I messaged Harper. Are you free tomorrow? I need legal advice. I knew some things could never go back. The next morning's sunlight slipped through the curtains. The space beside me was still empty. Ryan didn't come home the 7th time this month. I opened the closet and picked out a suit. Today I chose it on purpose, because Ryan had once said dresses made me look more like a proper wife. I washed my face and looked at myself in the mirror. My 29-year-old face had grown weary. The lines under my eyes, the sallow skin evidence of 3 years of endurance. I covered last night's tears with makeup. Ding dong. The doorbell rang. Through the peephole I saw Harper's short hair, sharp eyes, carrying 2 coffees and a paper bag that smelled of pastries. Knew you hadn't eaten breakfast. As soon as I opened the door she shoved the food into my hands. American coffee with milk, no sugar, and your favorite croissant. The smell of coffee spread and calmed my heart. In this city, besides the cafe owner, only Harper remembered my preferences. Ryan, he didn't even know I was allergic to peanuts. Last year, at the family party, he had even served me a salad full of nuts and laughed. Tastes great, try it. Tell me, what legal advice do you need? Harper opened her laptop and went straight to the point. I stirred my coffee lightly and began to speak, weighing every word. If I want a divorce, how do I protect my rights? Harper's eyes lit up. Finally, you've woken up. She quickly opened a few files. First, we need to clarify the status of your assets. The house is under your name, right? Yes. It was my parents' wedding gift, registered as my separate property. But after the wedding, Ryan kept insisting on adding his name, saying it was for face. And I, out of weakness, agreed. I gave a bitter smile. When did that happen? A few months after the wedding. He said it every day. Other wives' colleagues do it. I'm the only one without a name on it. It's so embarrassing at the office. Harper's fingers flew over the keyboard. It's a bit complicated, but because the house is separate property, the initial down payment and the increase in value still belong to you. Who paid for the repairs? Mostly me. I used savings, about $70,000. Ryan's family contributed about $15,000. Do you have paperwork? Yes, I kept the renovation contract and all the receipts. Harper nodded, satisfied. The next step is to gather evidence. Do you know Ryan's exact income? The question left me stunned. He says his salary is about $100,000 a year. He gives me $1,000 a month for living expenses, and the rest he keeps. 3 years married and your accounts are still separate. Yes, and I pay the mortgage. My voice faltered. He says it's for investments and in case his parents get sick. Harper slammed the table. Mackenzie, don't you see they're taking advantage of you? This isn't a marriage, it's a scam. Hearing myself tell it, I felt ridiculous. To outsiders, I was Mrs. Mackenzie, living in a mansion, driving a luxury car. But in reality, I hesitated even when buying a new coat, while Ryan happily gifted his mother a $20,000 gold necklace. We need to know his financial situation, Harper said sternly. Can you access his computer or his records? His office is always locked. He says there are confidential client documents. I suddenly remembered, but I have an emergency key. I could go in when he's away. Be careful. Don't get caught. The most important things are the bank statements, investment records. She paused, then asked, do you have any proof of the affair? My heart tightened. What I had been trying to ignore for so long finally surfaced. After Harper left, I stood before Ryan's office door, the key in my hand. On our wedding day, we promised to respect each other's privacy. But today I had to break that promise. The sound of the key turning echoed softly. As the door opened, a strong scent of men's cologne filled the air. The office was tidy to the point of being cold. Law books were arranged neatly by height. The desk gleamed spotless. I opened the top drawer, only a few meaningless work. Documents. The middle drawer, photo albums. All of Ryan with his family. Only a few pictures of the two of us. The bottom drawer locked. That alone made me suspicious. I looked around. Behind the bookshelf was a small safe. Ryan had bought it last year to keep important documents. I tried entering our wedding anniversary wrong. His birthday wrong. Finally, I entered his mother's birthday. The safe clicked open. Inside was a stack of neatly arranged documents. On top was a copy of the house ownership certificate. I opened it and froze. It clearly stated, Ryan Caldwell and Mackenzie Carter co-owners. I kept searching and found bank statements. Ryan's balance wasn't $150,000 like he said, but nearly $1.5 million. There were also regular transfers every month between $3,000 and $15,000 to someone named Vanessa. At the bottom of the safe was a black velvet jewelry box. I opened it. A dazzling diamond necklace I had never seen before. The receipt read, Cartier, over $25,000. Purchased on my birthday last year. The gift I received that day was just a bouquet of roses. Beneath the jewelry box was a photo, Ryan hugging a young woman by a resort pool, both wearing matching swimsuits, smiling brightly. On the back it said, With love, Vanessa Maui. August 2023. The exact week he claimed to be on a business trip. Everything overtime, investment expenses, confidential work fit together into one bitter truth. My phone buzzed. I nearly dropped the photo. A text from Ryan. Babe, I won't be home for dinner tonight. Company party. I calmly took photos of all the evidence, emailed them to Harper through an encrypted address, then placed everything back where it was. At 10 p.m., Ryan came home reeking of alcohol. I sat on the sofa, watching him stumble as he took off his shoes. You're still up? He leaned down, trying to kiss me. I turned my face away. You smell like perfume. I hate that smell. My voice was ice cold. Ryan froze, then forced a laugh. It's just work, babe. Some clients wear strong cologne. Right? And Vanessa is one of those clients, isn't she? His smile vanished. His face went from red to ghostly pale. Mackenzie, please, let me explain. No need. I'm tired. I have to buy your mother's souvenir tomorrow, remember? I cut him off and stood up. You forgot? I walked into the bedroom, leaving him in the living room, dumbfounded. Leaning against the door, I heard him whispering on the phone, probably with Vanessa. My phone lit up, got the evidence. He's done. Come to the office tomorrow, we'll plan it out. This time, just follow my lead, Harper. I replied, got it, then deleted all the messages. The door creaked open softly. Ryan lay down beside me, pretending nothing had happened. In the darkness, I could hear him trying to steady his breathing, faking sleep. I spoke. So, which resort in Maui were you planning to stay at? Just some regular resort. The company has a contract there. I let out a quiet laugh. Not the Four Seasons Maui again, is it? No. His voice cracked. I heard those villas with private pools are really expensive. Ryan shot up like a spring. You were following me. Following you? Not necessary. You forgot to lock your Facebook account. Last November, you checked in at the Four Seasons Maui. Oh, and that Cartier necklace in the photo looked stunning. Ryan's face turned ashen. Mackenzie, you went through my phone. Compared to you cheating on me, checking your phone is nothing, don't you think? 3 years of marriage, separate bank accounts, me slaving away for your whole family, and you still had another woman. Ryan, you never failed to disappoint me. Enough. You think I wanted this? I'm sick of your cold face every day. Vanessa is 100 times gentler than you. She knows how to make a man happy. I stared at his rage and suddenly found it all absurd. This was the man I defied my parents to marry, a cowardly, deceitful man who still blamed others for his betrayal. Fine. Then let's divorce. You can have Vanessa, and I'll live my own life in peace. Divorce? Ryan laughed like he'd just heard the century's best joke. Don't dream. Half this house is mine. How are you going to live after that? With your pathetic salary, you think you can pay the mortgage? So that was it. He had calculated everything, certain I'd never dare to leave. I looked at that smug face and laughed. Yeah, we'll see about that. Ryan froze, speechless. I lay down, turned off the light, and turned my back to him. I could feel his angry, confused stare burning through the darkness. Mackenzie, don't do anything stupid. I've had my eyes on this house for a long time. Liam's getting married soon, he'll need a place to live. So that was their plan. I closed my eyes, my hand clenched so tight my nails dug into my palm. They had plotted this all along to take from me, live in my house, and eventually steal it for his brother. When dawn broke, I quietly got up, packed a few essentials and important papers and left the house. The morning air felt unusually fresh. I took a deep breath and called Harper. Harper, I've made my decision. I'm taking back everything that's mine. Her voice on the other end was firm. That's right. I'll be waiting at the office. The battle starts now. Harper's law office was on the 28th floor of a glass building in downtown Seattle. I sat in the conference room, a stack of documents Harper had just printed lying in front of me. It's worse than I thought, she said, adjusting her glasses. Based on these statements, over the past 2 years Ryan has transferred a total of $330,000 to Vanessa. That's clear evidence of marital asset dissipation. $330,000, several years of my salary, and he threw it all at another woman. But this is even more serious. Harper opened another folder. Ryan borrowed $800,000 3 months ago, claiming it was for home renovations. But your house hasn't been renovated recently, has it? I flinched. He never said a word. Of course not. A week later, the entire amount was transferred to Vanessa in 5 installments. I believe he bought her a house. Really? Most likely. But that's not even the worst part. Look at this. She opened a digital record, a copy of WhatsApp messages between Ryan and his brother Liam. I got this through a private source, Harper explained. It can't be used as formal evidence, but it's enough to know their intentions. Messages. Did you tell your wife about the mortgage yet? Not yet. I'll tell her after the trip. She's been acting strange, probably suspects something about Vanessa. What about my place? We're supposed to put the down payment next week. Don't rush. My name's on the deed. She can't do anything. If it gets tricky, I'll have Mom talk to her. She always listens to Mom. They had planned to mortgage my house to buy an apartment for his brother. Legally, if the property is jointly owned, sometimes just one signature is enough to mortgage it. If they act first, you'll be at a disadvantage. So what do? We can't sit still. We have to strike first. She reminded me, my parents paid the down payment, I covered the renovation costs, and we had all the proof. We'll assert that Ryan is primarily responsible for the breakdown of the marriage and demand redistribution of assets. A thought struck me. Harper, what if I can prove that the co-ownership document is fake? Her eyes lit up. Do you have proof? Not yet, but I clearly remember it was joint ownership by percentage at first. The seal and signature on the copy in the safe looked very different. Perfect. Harper slammed the table. If we can prove forgery, not only will the mortgage be invalid, but Ryan could also face criminal charges. We made a plan: gather more evidence, verify the authenticity of the documents, and prepare the divorce paperwork. Before I left the office, Harper handed me a set of keys. My small apartment is empty right now. Stay there for the time being. Don't go back to the villa. If Ryan feels cornered, he might do something reckless. I hugged her, grateful. The phone rang. It was Ryan. Mackenzie, where are you? His voice was full of anger. My mom said you still haven't sent those gift boxes. She needs them by tomorrow. I almost laughed. In a situation like this, the first thing he thought about was gifts. For his mother. I had to run some errands. Those boxes are already ordered. They'll be delivered directly to your mom's house this afternoon, I said calmly. Ryan hesitated, surprised by my cooperation. Oh, yeah, good. By the way, about last night. Last night? I pretended to sound puzzled. You were so drunk, talking all kinds of nonsense. Yeah, right, I drank too much, don't remember anything. When are you coming back? Not anytime soon. I'm busy with work. Don't wait for me. I made up an excuse and hung up. I went straight to the county land registry office. With the original document copy and my ID, I looked up the property record history. Just as I remembered joint ownership by percentage, Mackenzie Carter 70%, Ryan Caldwell 30%. But the current record listed it as 50/50. That meant Ryan had forged the document. I held back my excitement, took a photo and sent it to Harper. She texted back immediately. Got him. He falsified the ownership type. He's done for this time. Perfect, I replied. Now we just have to find the forged original. Not easy, Ryan surely hid it well. I took a risk and returned to the villa one more time. At 4 p.m., knowing he had a meeting at the office, I unlocked the door and stepped inside. Instantly, I sensed something was off. The living room was messy. The drawers of the vanity table had been rifled through. Someone had been searching for something. I quietly went upstairs. Through the crack of the door, I saw Ryan, drenched in sweat, rummaging through piles of papers, cursing under his breath. He had come home early to find the document. I went back downstairs and deliberately slammed the front door. Honey, I'm home. The sound startled him. Oh. Hey. I was just looking for some paperwork. Why are you home so early? I asked, feigning concern. Nothing much to do at work. Oh, have you seen the house documents? I need them. For a loan application at the office. Not in the safe? No, I already checked. You sure you didn't put them somewhere else? Think carefully. I pretended to think, then said, oh, I remember now. Last month the property management office needed to update ownership info, so I borrowed the papers to make copies. Then my mom wanted to look at them, so I left them with her. What? How could you give something that important to someone else? My mom is someone else. And my name is on it too. What's wrong with her seeing it? Ryan fell silent, the vein on his forehead throbbing. Get them back right now. I need them for work. My mom's traveling. She won't be back until next month. If it's that urgent, use your own apartment instead. Ryan owned a small apartment in his name, currently rented out. Of course, he didn't want to touch his personal assets. Forget it, I'll handle it myself. He snapped, then suddenly asked. You really don't remember what I said last night? You said a lot. About Vanessa, about Maui, about the necklace too. His face froze. Just kidding. You didn't say anything. You passed out cold. The relief on his face was almost worth framing. Ryan stepped closer, trying to hug me. Baby, I've been so busy lately, I've neglected you. When I'm back from this trip, we'll spend time together, just the two of us. I gracefully slipped out of his arms. Go pack your bags. Your flight's early tomorrow, remember? He pulled back awkwardly and went upstairs. Watching his back, I knew I had to keep pretending. The most important thing now was to make him feel safe and buy time. After dinner, Ryan got a call and rushed out, probably to meet Vanessa and discuss their plans. Immediately, I searched the office thoroughly. Finally, on the highest shelf, hidden inside a thick copy of Advanced Criminal Law, I found the forged document. I photographed it for evidence, then put it back exactly where it was. Just as I was about to leave, an envelope in the desk drawer caught my eye. Inside was a drafted mortgage contract. The villa was appraised at $1,250,000. The loan amount $800,000. Purpose: joint family investment. The worst part, the borrower's signature was a forged version of mine, done with frightening precision. Ryan had faked my signature. My hands trembled as I photographed all the evidence and carefully put everything back. Just as I was leaving the office, the phone rang. My mother-in-law. Mackenzie, will the gifts arrive tomorrow? They must be the fancy kind with gold trim. Don't mess it up. Yes, don't worry, everything's ready, I said, suppressing nausea. She kept going. While we're away, make sure to water the plants weekly, especially Ryan's succulents, they're expensive. Oh, and there are jars of pickles in the fridge. Set them out in the sun next week. Yes, Mother. 10 p.m. Ryan still hadn't come home. I decided not to wait. I packed my clothes and important papers, left the villa, and went to Harper's apartment. On the way, I called my parents and briefly told them the situation. To my surprise, my father didn't scold me for not listening to them before. "Sweetheart, whatever you decide, your family's always here for you. That house was our gift to you, don't let them take it away." On the other end, I heard my mother's trembling voice. "My foolish girl, why did you endure all that without telling us sooner?" So I wasn't alone, it was my pride that had made me hide the pain from my family. Harper's apartment was small but cozy. I took a hot shower, lay down on the bed, and reviewed everything I had gathered. Ryan's crimes were piling up: adultery, hiding assets, forging documents, falsifying my signature. Any one of those alone would be enough to make him pay under the law. A WhatsApp message from Ryan popped up. "Babe, last-minute business trip. Flying straight to Maui to meet the family. We'll talk about the house when I'm back." I smirked coldly and didn't reply. Opening Facebook, I saw Vanessa's latest post. "Thank you for the best gift ever." The photo showed a Cartier bracelet and a man's hand wearing the exact watch I had given Ryan for his birthday last year. I took a screenshot, saved it, and turned off my phone. Morning light slipped through the thin curtains. It took me a few seconds to remember where I was. The apartment was small, but I'd slept better than any night in the past 3 years. My phone showed 3 missed calls, all from Ryan, and a text. "Why aren't you answering? I'm about to board. Make sure to lock the doors carefully." I laughed in contempt and immediately blocked his number and all his social media accounts. After a shower, I made coffee, opened my laptop, and started working on the plan. I logged into the bank thankfully. My salary was deposited into a personal account Ryan didn't know about. In 3 years, I had saved nearly $60,000. Our joint account still had about $35,000, so half of that was mine. Ryan had already thrown away more than $300,000 on his mistress anyway. I called the bank, reported suspected fraudulent activity, and requested a temporary freeze on the joint account so he couldn't withdraw money while traveling. Next, the most crucial step: the villa. Following Harper's advice, I needed to report the loss of the property ownership certificate and apply for a reissue, but first make sure Ryan couldn't interfere. My father called. "Sweetheart, I spoke with my old friend Jameson, a top real estate litigation lawyer. He said you need to sue Ryan immediately for document forgery and request an emergency asset freeze." My voice broke. "I'm sorry I didn't listen to you and Mom before. Don't say that. What matters now is that you reclaim what's yours. Your mother and I are flying to Seattle this afternoon. Whatever happens, we'll face it together." My parents, whom I distanced myself from for 3 years because of a worthless man, were now the ones protecting me. After getting everything ready, I went straight to the land registry office. With my ID and the original copies, I filed the loss report. The clerk said the new certificate would take about 7 business days. I asked, what if someone tries to use the old, reported lost copy to mortgage the property? It becomes invalid immediately after the loss report is published. But if you're concerned, you can request a temporary transfer restriction. That was exactly what I needed. I filed the request right away, stating the reason: suspected forged co-ownership. The house was, at least for now, safe. No matter how many fake documents Ryan tried to present to the banks, he wouldn't be able to get a single dollar. My phone rang, an unknown number. "Hello, Mrs. Mackenzie Carter. This is an agent from Everbright Realty. Calling regarding the sale of your property. We have a buyer ready to offer $1,150,000. When would you be available to discuss it?" "Sorry," I replied calmly, "I've never put my house up for sale." The person on the other end sounded surprised. "But Mr. Ryan Caldwell came by yesterday with documents and an ID, saying that you both had agreed to sell." My blood boiled. "Listen carefully, that's fraud. The documents have been reported lost and are being reissued. If your company dares to proceed with any transaction, be ready to receive a lawsuit from my attorney." I immediately called Harper. She was furious. "That jerk has no shame. Mackenzie, we need to move faster." "What should we do?" I asked. "He's probably already contacted other agencies. First, we have to notify all real estate companies and banks that the house is under legal dispute. Then, we'll file a lawsuit against Ryan for forging notarized documents and signatures. And if necessary, sell the house." I froze. That house, I had poured everything into it, from the design to every little detail of the decor. Every corner bore my touch. But thinking it over, what meaning did it still have, surrounded by those false memories? I'll sell it. But only after I regain full ownership. A wise decision. Harper nodded. Oh, your parents just arrived. Attorney Jameson wants to meet us this afternoon. At 3 p.m., I met my parents and Mr. Jameson in a hotel conference room. My mother hugged me tightly, tears in her eyes. You've lost so much weight, Mackenzie. Mr. Jameson, a sharp-looking middle-aged man, reviewed all the documents I had gathered. The evidence is strong. Mr. Caldwell's actions clearly constitute document forgery and fraud. He could face up to 3 years in prison. I just want a quick divorce and my assets back. I don't want this to turn into a criminal case. After all, it's still been 3 years of marriage. Then we'll proceed civilly. By law, living with another woman as if married and gifting money during the marriage are serious violations. In property division, he could receive less or even nothing. We finalized our strategy: file for an injunction to freeze Ryan's assets. Submit the divorce petition demanding redistribution of the villa's ownership and compensation for the dissipated assets. There's one more issue, Mr. Jameson said, adjusting his glasses. Do you know Ryan's current location? The court needs an address to send the summons. I opened WhatsApp, checking the in-laws family group chat. Even though I had muted it, I still saw a newly posted photo. Ryan embracing Vanessa on a Maui beach, a happy smile on his face. The caption read, "Family photo just missing the daughter-in-law." So that family vacation had been arranged just to take Vanessa along, while I, the legal wife, was completely excluded. I calmly handed the phone to Mr. Jameson. They're at the Four Seasons Maui. The photo shows the time and location. He snapped a photo for evidence, then asked, Mrs. Carter, when do you plan to move your belongings out of the villa? Today, I said firmly. If Ryan dared to take his mistress on vacation and introduce her as family, then I had no reason to protect his reputation anymore. When I returned to the villa, I began packing methodically, professional books from the study, clothes and shoes from the closet, the dinnerware set I had so carefully chosen for this kitchen. 3 years of marriage, so many items gathered over time. While I was boxing things up, the doorbell rang. Looking through the peephole, I saw a woman holding a folder. Is this Mr. Ryan Caldwell's residence? She asked. I'm an account manager from Bank of America. Mr. Caldwell sent me to pick up some documents. I opened the door but didn't let her in. What documents? What documents? He said you already know the original property title and your ID card. Her eyes flicked past me, trying to see inside. Ryan was fast. He had even sent a bank representative to my house to retrieve the documents. Sorry, I don't know anything about that. And the documents aren't here. The woman looked uneasy. But Mr. Caldwell, whatever he said, I cut her off. You'd better check the latest notice from the county land office. This house is under dispute, and any bank issuing a loan on this property will be held legally liable. Her expression changed instantly, and she hurried away. I immediately sent emails to the credit departments of major banks, formally notifying them that the villa was under litigation and any mortgage requests tied to it were invalid. As evening fell, I finished packing everything. A moving truck stopped in front of the gate, and the workers began carrying out boxes. I took one last look at the house I used to call home. There was no regret, none at all. Then I suddenly remembered something. I went back to the bedroom and opened the nightstand drawer. Inside was a small box containing my grandmother's pearl earrings, the only keepsake left from her. I hadn't dared wear them for 3 years, afraid they'd be lost. Now, they were finally back where they belonged. I locked the front door, handed the keys to the property manager, and told him that any future matters regarding the villa should go through my attorney. He looked at me with concern. Ma'am, has something happened? From now on, call me Mackenzie, all right? Thank you for everything. I drove to the hotel where my parents were staying, feeling lighter than I had in years. On the way, a text from Harper appeared. The temporary injunction has been approved by the court. All of Ryan's accounts are frozen. The notice of lost property documents has been publicly listed in the Washington State Gazette effective immediately. I thanked her, then made an overseas call. On the other end was Emma, my former college roommate in Boston, now an executive at a multinational corporation. Emma, it's been so long. Remember the position I mentioned at the Singapore branch? It's still open. I looked out the window and said with conviction, I think I need a new beginning. A week later, I sat in Mr. Jameson's office reviewing the completed divorce petition. It listed Ryan's serious violations in detail: cohabiting with another woman, forging documents, dissipating marital assets, all supported by solid evidence. The court has accepted the filing, Mr. Jameson said, handing me another folder. This is the asset freeze order. All of Mr. Caldwell's bank accounts, shares, and real estate holdings are now sealed. Ryan's reaction was even worse than I expected. As soon as he received the court notice, he tried to fly back from Maui, but with his credit cards frozen he couldn't even buy a plane ticket and had to borrow money from his brother. He's probably back in Seattle by now, Mr. Jameson said. Do you want to stay somewhere safe for a while? No. It's time to face him. Before I could finish speaking, my phone started ringing nonstop. Ryan. He was using a different number after I blocked him. I put it on speaker. Mackenzie, are you insane? You dared to sue me? To freeze my accounts? Mr. Caldwell, I said calmly, watch your words. My attorney is recording this call. His tone softened. Mackenzie, sweetheart, there's no need to go this far. We can talk about this. When you forged my signature and the house documents, why didn't we talk then? When you took your mistress on vacation and called her family, why didn't we talk then? It's all a misunderstanding. Vanessa's just a distant cousin. That photo was a joke. And the documents probably a clerical error at the registry office. Mr. Caldwell, I interrupted, see you in court. Then I hung up. Mr. Jameson nodded approvingly. Well handled. He'll lash out next, be ready. Sure enough, less than 30 minutes later, I got an urgent message from Harper. Ryan and his parents are at the villa, trying to change the locks and fighting with the security staff. Mr. Jameson and I rushed there. From afar, I could already hear my mother-in-law shouting, my son owns this house. Why won't you let him in? Did she bribe the guards? The property manager stayed calm. Ma'am, Mrs. Carter filed a loss report and is being reissued ownership documents. Legally, at this moment, she is the sole recognized owner of the property. Ridiculous. My father-in-law roared, slamming the reception desk. Half that house belongs to my son. Who does that woman think she is, keeping him out of his own home? I stepped forward and pushed the door open. Dad. Mom, long time no see. How was Maui? The family photo looked lovely. All three of them turned at once. Ryan's face flushed purple, and my mother-in-law looked ready to tear me apart. Mackenzie. She screamed, lunging toward me, trying to grab my collar. You ungrateful brat. How dare you treat my son like this? Mr. Jameson stepped in front of me. Ma'am, please calm down. Physical assault is illegal, and we're recording everything as evidence. Her face went pale, and she drew back her hand. Well, you've got yourself a lawyer now, huh? Coming here to fight your husband's family? Ryan gritted his teeth. Mackenzie, what do you want? Simple, I said, locking eyes with him. I want a divorce and everything that's rightfully mine. Don't dream. Ryan shouted. My name is on the documents too. You can't take everything. I pulled a folder from my handbag. This is the original registration. The joint ownership ratio is clear. 70% mine, 30% yours. The document you forged is proof of your crime. Lies? And that's not all, I continued. You also forged my signature on the mortgage contract and transferred over $330,000 to your mistress. By law, you'll not only lose your rights to the house but also owe damages for emotional distress. My mother-in-law screamed, that's impossible. My son supported you for 3 years, and this is how you betray him. Supported me? For 3 years, we've had separate accounts. I paid the mortgage, utilities, maintenance, everything. Your son only gave me $1,000 a month, barely enough to cover his own food. She fell silent. My father-in-law squinted. Mackenzie, we're family. Ryan was wrong. but you're not innocent either. Men make small mistakes sometimes. Small mistakes. Forging documents is a small mistake. Hiding marital assets is a small mistake. Taking his mistress on vacation and lying to his entire family is a small mistake. Ryan lunged toward me, trying to grab the folder, but Mr. Jameson stopped him. He looked like a cornered animal. "Mackenzie, don't push me. I know people, you'll never work in Seattle again." Threatening the other party, Mr. Jameson said evenly, turning on the recorder, "will be used as evidence against you in court." Ryan finally realized how serious things were. His tone shifted, almost pleading. "Mackenzie, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Please give me another chance. I'll leave Vanessa. I'll do whatever you say." I felt only disgust. That pitiful face once made me forgive him over and over again, but not anymore. Too late, Ryan. I gave you plenty of chances. Now I just want this to end as soon as possible. Don't dream. I'll drag this out to the end and see who lasts longer. That's not up to you, Mr. Jameson cut in. Here's the evidence. Mrs. Carter gathered bank transfers, intimate photos, text messages proving cohabitation with Vanessa. Once submitted, not only will it speed up the divorce, but you'll also face a defamation penalty. Ryan collapsed into a chair like a deflated balloon. His mother tried to speak, but his father grabbed her arm. Both of them finally understood that their precious son had run into a steel wall. I stood up, my voice firm. "I'm giving you 3 days. If you agree to an uncontested divorce, the house is mine, and the rest will be divided by law. If not, I'll see you in court, and you can face every legal consequence." I received an email from Emma. Attached was an offer letter. Marketing director at the Singapore headquarters. The salary was triple my current one. "Have you made a decision?" Mr. Jameson asked. "Once this is all settled, I'll move to Singapore and start a new life." A wise choice. But Ryan won't give up easily. Next time he might play even dirtier. "I'll be ready," I said, staring toward the distant villa. 3 days later, as expected, Ryan didn't sign the divorce papers. Instead, he launched a smear campaign. First, his relatives called one after another, begging me to forgive him. Then he posted a pitiful message on Facebook, implying I'd left him for a richer man. Finally, he showed up at my workplace filing a complaint to HR accusing me of immoral behavior. But I was prepared. When HR called me in, I handed in my resignation along with my signed contract for the new position in Singapore. At the same time, Harper helped me release an official statement to the media, attaching proof of Ryan's affair and the forged documents. Public opinion flipped instantly. Ryan's social media was flooded with angry comments. Even Vanessa's workplace was exposed. The two of them became a national joke. Unexpectedly, someone discovered that Vanessa had been seeing 3 other men at the same time. Ryan became a public embarrassment. "This time he's really done for," Harper said with satisfaction. But we still underestimated his shamelessness. One rainy night, Ryan and his brother Liam broke into the villa while I was finishing packing. He was drunk, eyes bloodshot, shouting, "You destroyed my life, so I'll destroy yours." Liam raised his phone, recording. "Sis-in-law, you'd better withdraw the lawsuit. Otherwise, tomorrow this makeup video of you two will be all over the internet." I understood immediately they planned to stage an assault and use the footage to blackmail me. My heart pounded, but my mind stayed clear. "Ryan, you know this is a crime, right? Between husband and wife, there's no such thing as a crime. After tonight, whether you drop the case or not, your life is over." Just as he lunged forward, I pressed the emergency alarm hidden in my pocket. The siren blared, and at the same time, 2 of my former coworkers waiting in the house next door rushed in and restrained the Caldwell brothers. "The police are on their way," I said coldly to Ryan. "This time, breaking and entering and attempted assault will put you behind bars for a long time." Ryan's face went pale, while Liam burst into tears, begging, "Sis-in-law, it was all my brother's idea. Please don't press charges." The sound of police sirens grew louder. Ryan's final act had come to an end. As the officers handcuffed him, he turned to me and asked, "Mackenzie, did you ever love me?" "Yes. But now, all I feel is disgust." The police car drove off, and the rain stopped. Tomorrow I would sell the house. Next week, the divorce hearing would begin. And in a month, I'd be in Singapore, starting a new chapter. The day before the trial, I got a call from the police. During his Maui trip, Mr. Ryan used forged documents to borrow $1,200,000 from a small finance company. They've just reported it. You're listed as an affected party, and we'd like your cooperation. The officer's tone was formal and respectful. I immediately called Mr. Jameson. He laughed. He's dug his own grave. With forgery at that scale, he's looking at least 3 years in prison. So, he's going to jail? I asked. Very likely, he confirmed. And this will heavily strengthen your divorce case. The court will definitely side with you. I should have felt happy, but instead I felt strangely hollow. How ironic that 3 years of marriage ended like this. On the day of the trial, the hallway was packed with reporters. Since my story had gone public, the case had become a media sensation. There was even a hashtag, #StayStrongMackenzie. Ryan arrived late, accompanied by his parents and lawyer. In just 2 weeks, he looked 10 years older, sunken eyes, gray skin. When he saw me, hatred flickered across his face, but it quickly turned into fear. He knew this time he wasn't just facing divorce, he was facing criminal charges. His lawyer tried to argue that the transfers were just gifts between friends and that Vanessa was a distant cousin. But once the judge reviewed the photos and explicit messages, even his lawyer fell silent. As for the forged documents and mortgage contract, the defense had nothing left to say. Why did you do this? The judge asked. Ryan lowered his head and murmured, my brother's getting married, and the bride's family had no dowry. I just wanted to help a little. By forging your wife's signature and dissipating marital assets. Do you understand the legal consequences? Ryan stared at the floor, speechless. His mother broke into loud sobs and had to be escorted out by officers. During recess, Ryan approached me. Mackenzie, for the sake of 3 years together, can't you withdraw the case? I'll give the house back, keep the money. Too late. You chose this path. You want to ruin my life? If I go to jail, it's over for me. You did this to yourself. I turned away. The final verdict exceeded all expectations. The court granted the divorce, awarded me full ownership of the villa, ordered Ryan to repay the $330,000 he had sent to Vanessa, and transferred 70% of his personal savings to me as damages. In addition, he was to cover all court and legal fees. As the judgment was read, Ryan's face turned white, and his mother fainted. Reporters' cameras flashed non-stop, capturing the collapse of the Caldwell family forever. Mr. Jameson patted my shoulder. Congratulations, Mrs. Carter. Justice has been served. Thank you. Without you, I wouldn't have won so completely. What will you do now? What about the house? I'll sell it, I said firmly. I've already hired a realtor. Next week I'm flying to Singapore to start my new job. A good decision. And the criminal case against Ryan? I thought for a moment. I don't want to be involved any further. If he admits guilt and returns the assets, I'll drop the charges. The rest, I'll leave to the law. I understand. I'll handle the paperwork. Good luck with your new life. Back at the temporary apartment, I started packing. 3 years of marriage reduced to 2 suitcases. That evening, Harper came over with a bottle of champagne. Ryan's completely broke now. Finally, justice served. Then she turned serious. Mackenzie, for 3 years, what worried me most was you. I saw you slowly losing yourself. I know. Sometimes I wonder how I could have been so stupid. All the signs were there, and I pretended not to see them. Because you loved him, silly, Harper sighed. Love makes you blind. But thank God, you finally woke up. The next morning, I got a call from the real estate company. The house has been sold for $1,250,000, which is $100,000 above market value. The buyer is a single mother who loves the location near the school and your interior design. She wants to transfer the title immediately. Is that convenient? Absolutely, I replied, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. The signing process went quickly. After we finished, the buyer, a graceful middle-aged woman, held my hand. Mackenzie, I saw the news. You're so brave. I'll fill this house with laughter and love. Thank you. That's exactly what this house needs most. As I left the neighborhood, I unexpectedly ran into Liam Ryan's younger brother right at the gate. He looked thin and pale. When he saw me, he seemed surprised, then hurried over. Mackenzie, could you lend me some money? My brother's been arrested, my engagement was called off, and my mother's in the hospital with high blood pressure. I couldn't believe my ears. The Caldwell family still had the nerve to ask me for money. Liam, I said calmly, do you realize your brother forged my signature to mortgage the house and used that money to buy an apartment for you and your fiancé? Liam's face turned ashen. I didn't know where that money came from. Your family is truly remarkable, I said bitterly. Your brother's in jail, your mother's hospitalized, your engagement's broken. That's called karma. You should take care of yourself instead. I turned and walked away. Behind me, Liam shouted angrily, Mackenzie, you're the coldest, most heartless woman I've ever met. My brother was a fool to marry you. I didn't look back, just raised my hand slightly, a final wave goodbye. That evening, my mother called on video. My father sat beside her, asking question after question. They wanted to come with me to Singapore, but I smiled and refused. I'm not a kid anymore, Mom. Singapore's great, you don't have to worry. My mother wiped her tears. You're going so far away. Please take care of yourself. I'll be fine. Besides, travel's easy these days. You and Dad can visit me anytime. After hanging up, I stood by the window, looking out at Seattle, the city where I had spent nearly 10 years of my life. Beneath the neon lights, how many stories of love and betrayal were unfolding? My story was just one among countless others. My phone rang. Harper. Mackenzie, the court just confirmed it. Ryan confessed. The prosecutor recommended 3 years in prison. His lawyer says he wants to see you one last time. No. I have nothing left to say to him. I figured, Harper laughed. Your flight's booked 3 p.m. tomorrow. Want me to see you off? No need. You know I hate goodbyes. Harper's voice softened. Call me often, okay? And when you get a new boyfriend, don't forget your best friend. You're my best friend. Once I'm settled, I'll invite you to Singapore. I zipped up the last suitcase, turned off the light, and lay down. Tomorrow at this time, I'd be 30,000 feet in the air flying toward a new life. I closed my eyes, and the memories of the past 3 years drifted by like a slow-motion film. Pain, betrayal, struggle, awakening. All of it had become the strength that shaped me. I recalled a quote, some roads you must walk alone, some tears you must wipe by yourself, and some pain you must bear on your own. But once you've overcome it all, you'll meet the best version of yourself. Changi Airport, Singapore bustling with people. I pushed my luggage cart into the arrivals hall and saw Emma holding a sign with my name. It had been 3 years since we last met. She now wore her hair short, dressed in an elegant business suit, looking even more confident than before. Mackenzie, she called, running to hug me. Welcome to your new life. Emma helped me settle into an apartment near the office, then took me out for traditional food. During dinner, she cautiously asked about the divorce. I kept it brief. She fumed. That bastard deserves to rot in prison. It's over now. I just want to move forward. The new job was demanding but exhilarating. As regional marketing director for Asia Pacific, I oversaw brand promotion across multiple countries. The packed schedule left no room to dwell on the past. Every day felt meaningful. A month later, I received an email from Mr. Jameson. Ryan has been sentenced to 3 years in prison for document forgery and fraud. The divorce decree is now final. His accounts have been transferred to you. Vanessa has also been ordered to repay part of the money. Attached was a news article titled, Marriage Document Forgery Wife Wins Swift Legal Victory. In the photo, Ryan stood among reporters, looking miserable and worn out. I closed the email, my heart calm, empty of emotion. That weekend, I attended a company party on a yacht at Marina Bay. The Singapore skyline sparkled with lights. Jackson, the global marketing director, raised his glass. Mackenzie, I heard you left a major position in the U.S. to come here. That's bold. He didn't know I hadn't come for my career, but to escape a past I never wanted to see again. 3 months passed, and I fully adapted to life in Singapore. Work was smooth and I made new friends. Sometimes I posted food or scenery photos on Instagram. Harper was always the first to like and comment. So jealous. One Tuesday morning, while I was writing a quarterly report, my phone rang an unknown number from the U.S. I hesitated before answering. Hello? Is this Mackenzie Carter? I almost dropped my phone. It was my former mother-in-law. I'm Ryan's mother. What do you want? Her voice trembled. I was wrong. It's all my fault. Please forgive Ryan. He's had 2 breakdowns in prison. The doctors say if this continues, ma'am, I interrupted. First of all, you're not my mother. Second, if Ryan's in prison, that's because of what he did. And lastly, don't ever contact me again. You're heartless, she screamed. You were his wife. How can you stand by and watch him die in there? If he's truly sick, prisons have doctors. And my attorney will be sending you a legal notice for harassment. I hung up and immediately called Mr. Jameson. He was just as surprised and promised to investigate how she got my number and take legal action. The incident was like a pebble thrown into calm water, rippling briefly, then still again. 2 weeks later, I received a LinkedIn message from Iria Park, HR director at Everbright Group, one of the top companies in the U.S. We've heard about your success in Singapore. Everbright Group is currently seeking a marketing director with international experience. Would you be interested in returning to the U.S.? Everbright Group, the company I once dreamed of working for. But going back? I wasn't ready to face the place that held so many painful memories. I replied politely, I'm very happy with my current position and have no plans to make a change. Iria responded almost immediately, I understand. But this is a rare opportunity. Annual salary of $250,000, plus equity and direct reporting to the CEO. If you change your mind, please reach out. I stared at the message for a long time. $250,000, double my current salary. I didn't delete it. I just left it there. Time passed quickly. I had been in Singapore for 6 months. During that time, my team signed 2 major contracts. The CEO praised me in front of the entire company. Emma said I was the fastest adapting foreign employee she'd ever seen, even encouraging me to apply for permanent residency. But the invitation to return to the U.S. still lingered in my mind. Not because of money or status, but because I realized I had been running away. Running from the place where Ryan existed, from painful memories, from the weak version of myself I used to be. One weekend, I went to Sentosa Island. Sitting on the white sand, gazing at the deep blue sea, I suddenly understood true letting go isn't about escaping. It's about daring to face the past, and still choosing not to look back. That night, I wrote an email to Iria, expressing my interest in discussing the offer further. I also reached out to Mr. Jameson, asking if Ryan's family might cause trouble if I returned. He replied, Ryan still has at least 2 years left on his sentence. His parents have been warned and won't dare do anything, and your reputation in the U.S. is excellent. Many women see you as a symbol of standing up against domestic abuse. A symbol? I was just an ordinary woman pushed to the edge, forced to fight back. The interviews with Everbright Group went smoothly. After an online session, they even invited me to dinner in Singapore. The Asia-Pacific chairman said, Miss Carter, we're deeply impressed by your background, not just your skills but the strength and courage you've shown. Those are exactly the core values of our company. After 8 months in Singapore, I decided to return. Emma was a bit sad but understanding. Follow your heart, she said. Singapore will always be here, waiting for you. The resignation process was quick. The CEO tried to keep me, offering a 30% raise, but I declined. Money was no longer what I was chasing. I needed to finish my healing journey, to go back to the place that had once hurt me, and hold my head high as I started over. A week before my departure, Harper texted me, breaking news: Vanessa cheated on your ex. She had an affair with a relative of another inmate, and the 2 of them scammed the rest of Ryan's money before disappearing. I should have felt satisfaction, but instead, I felt a quiet sadness. Ryan, the man who thought he could control everything, was finally betrayed by his own accomplice. Maybe that was karma. The plane landed at JFK Airport, New York City. It was October, the middle of autumn. The sky was a brilliant blue, the maple trees blazing red, breathtakingly beautiful. While waiting for my luggage, my phone buzzed a message from Iria. Welcome back, Mackenzie. By the way, tomorrow evening the company will host a welcome dinner. The CEO would like to introduce you to the entire leadership team. I replied yes and took a deep breath. Pushing my luggage cart, I walked out of the terminal. Sunlight filtered through the glass roof, warm on my face. Welcome home, Mackenzie, I whispered to myself. The Everbright Group welcome dinner was held at an elegant restaurant on the 80th floor of the Hudson Skyline Tower in Manhattan. I chose a dark red suit, professional yet feminine. Director Carter, I've heard a lot about you. It was Mr. Iverson, the company's CEO, a man in his 50s with a friendly demeanor. His handshake was firm but measured. Your case was once discussed in my MBA class. I smiled in thanks, surprised my divorce had become a business school case study. By the start of the dinner, I understood why. Mr. Iverson's wife, Eleanor Stone, an elegant and educated woman, approached me. Mackenzie, I'm a law professor at Columbia University and the director of the Center for Women's Rights Research. Your case is a perfect example of how an educated woman can use the law as a weapon of self-defense. I felt a little embarrassed. You're too kind. I just reacted on instinct. It's that instinct that deserves admiration, she said, eyes shining. Too many women choose silence. You proved that the law is a real tool to protect our rights. Midway through the dinner, a middle-aged man in a suit approached. Director Carter, a pleasure to meet you. I'm the company's legal advisor. I've heard great things about you. While we were talking, a young woman hesitantly stepped forward. Excuse me, are you Director Mackenzie Carter? She introduced herself as a marketing intern, saying my story had given her the courage to leave a toxic relationship. Seeing you now makes me believe I can start over too, she said, eyes brimming with tears. When the event ended, Mr. Iverson arranged a car to take me back to the hotel and handed me a folder. This is an invitation to next month's North American Business Forum. The board has chosen you to deliver the opening speech. I opened it. It was the most prestigious forum in the industry, usually reserved for vice presidents and above. I'm afraid I don't have enough experience. Don't be modest, he smiled. Your achievements in Singapore are undeniable, and more importantly, your life experience perfectly fits this year's theme, redefining leadership in times of change. That evening, Harper texted. How's your first day back in New York? Perfect. Let's meet tomorrow. I've got so much to tell you. The next day, we met at a cozy cafe in Soho. Harper hugged me tightly. My God, my best friend gives off CEO energy from 100 yards away. I laughed. Stop it, tell me about your promotion. Harper frowned. Don't ask. The old guys still think I'm too young. Then she lowered her voice conspiratorially. Oh, but I just took a big case. Ryan's mother is suing Vanessa to get the money back. I nearly choked on my coffee. What? Another circus show? Exactly. She accused Vanessa of fraud, demanding $500,000 in gift money. Vanessa claimed it was compensation for her youth. They screamed at each other in court, the mother shouting, "You shameless woman." And Vanessa yelling back, "You never taught your son any better." Even the judge was stunned, Harper said, laughing and shaking her head. I just shook mine. I didn't want to know anymore. Ryan's chaotic life no longer had anything to do with me. Oh, Harper suddenly said, turning serious. I have to tell you this. Ryan might get early release, 6 months off for good behavior. Maybe next month, she whispered. Are you worried? I thought for a moment, then smiled. No. New York's a big place. We're unlikely to ever cross paths. Besides, this Mackenzie isn't the same woman who used to be trampled. Harper raised her cup. To your new life. In the days that followed, I threw myself into work. I officially took charge of the marketing division, built my own team, and practiced my speech for the upcoming forum. On the day of the event, I chose a royal blue suit, powerful yet feminine. Standing before the mirror, I almost didn't recognize myself, confident, proud, eyes burning with determination. With the theme redefining leadership in times of crisis, please welcome the marketing director of Everbright Group, Mrs. Mackenzie Carter. Applause thundered as I stepped onto the stage. The lights were so bright I couldn't see the audience's faces, but that actually made me calmer. A year ago, I began, my voice clear and steady. I was at the lowest point of my life. I had lost my marriage, my trust, and even my sense of self-worth. But in that crisis, I found myself again. I turned pain into strength. True leadership isn't about controlling others. It's about taking control of your own life. When you dare to face your deepest fears, you discover your greatest power. Afterward, many people came forward to hand me their business cards. Top leaders from across industries. From a distance, Mr. Iverson gave me a thumbs up, pride shining in his eyes. On the way home, I received a text from an unknown number. Mackenzie, I've been released. I heard you've become very successful. Congratulations. I just want to see you once. There's so much I want to say. It was Ryan. I hesitated for a few seconds, then deleted the message and blocked the number. There was no need to walk the same road twice, no need to meet people I'd already left behind. The video of my speech spread rapidly, bringing new opportunities, interview requests from business magazines, an invitation to appear on a TV program, and finally a publishing offer for a book about female leadership and rebuilding after loss. Director, you've become the company's rising star, my young assistant joked. I heard you've been getting a lot of flower deliveries lately. I shook my head. Tell reception to refuse any gifts without a clear sender. I knew too well fame is always a double-edged sword. One Friday afternoon, as I was reviewing the quarterly report, Iria knocked on my door. Director, next month is International Women's Day. The American Women's Business Federation has invited you to speak as a representative of successful women. The CEO has already approved it. I opened the golden-edged invitation card. Women's growth and empowerment in the new era. The list of speakers included major names, business leaders, scholars, artists. My name was right in the new seventh. I'm not sure I'm worthy, I said, a bit nervous. Don't be so modest, Iria smiled. Online, they call you the Queen of Comebacks, a modern-day Joan of Arc. Your story has inspired thousands of women. That night, I video-called my parents to share the news. My mother was moved to tears, and my father proudly said he'd tell the whole family to watch the live broadcast. Mackenzie, my mother suddenly said softly, Ryan came by a few days ago. My smile vanished. What did he want? He said he wanted to apologize, my father cut in. He looked frail and calmer. He said he didn't expect forgiveness, just a chance to make amends. You didn't give him my number, did you? Of course not. My mother replied quickly. Your father nearly chased him out with a broom. I exhaled in relief. Please, never let him in again. Ryan's appearance was like a pebble thrown into a calm lake, a few ripples, then silence again. The Women's Forum was held grandly at the Washington Convention Center. I prepared my speech titled A Woman's Journey of Rebirth from Home to the World. I spoke about leaving a toxic relationship and reclaiming self-worth. When we let others define us, we lose our most precious freedom. And true strength begins the moment we take that freedom back. I paused, then added, divorce isn't what's frightening is not having the courage to divorce. Being single isn't what's scary is not knowing how to live for yourself. Afterward, an older businesswoman with silver hair approached and held my hand. Mackenzie, your speech was wonderful. Honest stories always have the greatest power. I hope you'll keep speaking up for women, she said gently. I was so moved I couldn't speak, I just nodded. That night, a photo of me shaking her hand appeared on the front pages of several major economic newspapers in the U.S. At the post-forum reception, I received dozens of business cards and collaboration proposals. I was starting to feel tired from all the handshakes and small talk when I noticed a familiar figure at the doorway. Ryan. He was wearing a wrinkled suit, holding a cheap bouquet, trying to get into the hall. Security stopped him, and a brief scuffle broke out. I hesitated for a moment, then walked over. Mackenzie. His eyes lit up. I just wanted to congratulate you in person. You look radiant. He was thin, his eyes sunken, his face weary. The flowers in his hand were crushed, pitiful. Ryan, I said calmly, please leave. His voice broke. I know I have no right to see you. I was wrong. Vanessa ran off and took all my money. My mother had a heart attack, she's in the hospital. I lost my job, Maybe this is karma. Watching him cry, I felt nothing. The wound he'd left had scarred too deeply. There was no energy left for hatred. Let the past rest, Ryan. I wish you well, but don't ever look for me again. Suddenly, he dropped to his knees. Mackenzie, just one chance. Security. Please escort this man out. Two guards grabbed his arms and pulled him away. Ryan struggled, shouting, Mackenzie, you cold-hearted woman. After everything we've been through, the entire room went silent. All eyes were on me. My mother hurried over, worry written all over her face. It's okay, Mom. I'm fine. From that night on, Ryan vanished from my life for good. Some said he became a construction worker down south. Others claimed he returned home to care for his sick mother. Either way, I no longer cared. The forum's success carried on for weeks. My LinkedIn following skyrocketed, hundreds of collaboration messages poured in every day. The company used the momentum to appoint me as director of the newly established Women's Leadership Development Center, and granted me an equity bonus. Spring arrived, and I bought a small apartment in Brooklyn, New York. On signing day, I carefully checked to make sure my name was the only one on the deed. Standing in the empty apartment, I video called Harper to toast from afar. Well, you're officially a winner now, Director Carter, Harper said, biting into an apple. And what about love? Anyone new? Work is my love. What about you? How's that promotion to partner coming? Thanks to you. I did it. Harper raised her glass triumphantly. Now the old guys at the firm call me Attorney Harper with respect. We clinked glasses through the screen, celebrating each other's victories. A year ago, I was still Mackenzie, trapped in a miserable marriage. Today I was like a butterfly, living a life I never dared to dream of. An email arrived from the publisher. They sent the edited manuscript of my memoir, Rebirth, to be released at the end of the year. The editor added a note. I suggest adding a chapter about building healthy relationships. Many readers will want to know, after everything, do you still believe in love? I sat down at my desk, opened my laptop, and typed the first line. I believe in love, but I believe in myself more. True safety never comes from someone else's promises. It comes from unwavering trust in yourself. Outside, a crescent moon quietly rose, casting its gentle silver light across the world.